Hello folks, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Emily, the registered dietitian here at Harvest Market, and I am whipping up a delicious recipe for this week. I have been on a bowl kick. I love a good bowl. So when I say bowl, I mean something that has a little bit of everything in it. So you have your grains, you have your veg, you have your proteins. I love it because it's all there. Usually there's some delicious type of sauce or dressing. So versatile, so easy, so delish. So today we're gonna be making a fajita bowl. So we're gonna be roasting, doing kind of like a sheet pan thing. I love a good sheet pan meal. This kind of combines sheet pan meal and bowl together. So sheet pan meal, we're gonna have this. I have the sheet pan ready, foil lined, and I just do that because it's easy cleanup for me. I like foil or parchment. I'm out of parchment paper, so I'm using foil here. And let's see, what else do you need? You need a cutting board, you need a knife, you need a pot to cook your rice, and I have a skillet here because I'm actually going to be demonstrating the vegetarian version, so with pinto beans. If you have the chicken version, not to worry. I will walk you through exactly what you have to do, super easy. So first things first, get your oven preheated to 435. That's kind of like my sweet spot number. Sometimes 450 is a little too high. Sometimes 425 is not hot enough. And so I don't know, I like 435. That is a good spot where I feel like I get a good roast, I get good caramelization, but it doesn't overcook or undercook, doesn't take too long. So I don't know, I just like it. Okay, so first things first, what we're gonna do is prepare our veg. So if you got the chicken, just set that aside for a sec. You wanna get your sheet pan ready, whether you have, again, foil, parchment, nothing, I don't care. We're gonna take out all of our stuff. So we got beautiful veggies in here. I just love this. So we're gonna take out our cilantro, should be at the tippy top, and we're just gonna put that off to the side. That's just gonna be kind of our garnish at the top. Okay, so take out your mushrooms, then we have some onion, some zucchini, and bell pepper. You might have a different color bell pepper, just depending what we have available. Okie dokie. So, from here, let me get myself situated. I'm gonna set that cilantro off to the side. I like to take a little paper towel and wipe off my mushrooms. Now, I was having a conversation with somebody about this. Whether you want to wash off your mushrooms, wipe off your mushrooms, it really doesn't matter. What we're looking for is just getting kind of that visible dirt off. We're gonna be roasting these at a high temp, so they'll be absolutely fine. I'm just kind of getting any big hunks off. And I just like to wipe it with a paper towel because I find that the mushrooms kind of get a little broken down, a little soggy if I rinse them in water. But a lot of people do that and they have no problem with it. So whatever you prefer, whatever you like, I don't really care. Just wipe them off, wash them off. Okay, so from here, we're gonna prep our veg. I need a bowl, we're gonna be tossing these in our seasoning. So get your mixing bowl. We're gonna be cutting up the veg and then putting it in the bowl here. So I'm gonna start with my mushrooms. I'm just gonna do these. I'm just gonna slice these guys. I like so. I love mushrooms. They're so easy to cut. These are, I always say these are great. If you have a young cook in the kitchen, this is a great first thing to practice slicing and chopping because it's really easy to cut through, and you can actually even cut it with like a plastic knife. So if you have a real little one that wants to play and practice, that's a really good one to do. Okay, then we have our zucchini. I like to do just kind of like half moons or half circles. So I'll take this guy, cut it in half lengthwise, and then slice it up this way. If you have a other preferred chop that you like, by all means. So if you do have the vegetarian version, I'm just preheating a little skillet. I'm just gonna heat up my beans. I like them warm. I like my protein warm. If you don't care, then you don't have to heat up a skillet. So that's what I got going on right here. If you don't have the beans, you don't have to do a skillet. But you do have the rice. So I do have my rice kind of cooking over here in my pot. You can also do that while the sheet pan is in the oven because it'll take about the same amount of time. Okay, so next we're gonna do, I like to do some thin, long slices of this because they shrink when they cook and then they just kind of turn into these beautiful like roasted bell pepper ribbon type things. Absolutely gorgeous. Right in our bowl. Then for the onion, I'm gonna take off the very bottom, take the peel off, and I like to do slices. Do whatever you want here. So I'm just, ooh, sorry. My nose is running this onion, it must be, I guess. Woo, okay. Right in the bowl. Now, next part, depending on if you have a 2-person or a 4-person, this is gonna be a little bit different. So, you're gonna get your fajita seasoning. This is simply fajita seasoning mixed with olive oil. So this is my favorite fajita seasoning. Now, I do wanna preface to say, I don't get any kind of paid promotion, anything when I talk about a product. It's just honestly because I like it. Use it at home, it's delicious. Yeah, so you can rest assured that my opinions are absolutely honest. I don't get anything from this. So I like the McCormick fajita seasoning. It's my absolute favorite out of all of the ones I've tried. It's kind of smoky, it's kind of limey. I don't know, my favorite, balance of flavors. So if you have a 2-person, all of your stuff is gonna be right in here, including the seasoning. If you have a 4-person kit, the little cup is just gonna be oil and you're gonna get a whole packet of this. And what you're gonna do is transfer these 2 things into a small bowl and mix it up really, really well, okay? This just saved me time because you're gonna get a whole packet and then the 2-person gets half a packet. So this is all in here already. Now, a couple of things that are really important is that we wanna stir this really, really well because that fajita seasoning is going to settle in the bottom and become really hard. So I like to take a small butter knife, one of my favorite tools in the kitchen, and give it a really good stir so that everything kind of comes up and gets remixed together again. So if you have chicken, what you're gonna do is do about 2 tablespoons of this fajita seasoning mix with the olive oil and everything on your protein if you have a 2-person. So 2-person gets 2 tablespoons on the meat. 4-person gets 4 tablespoons on the meat. And then the rest you're gonna put on your vegetables, okay? So then everything gets a little bit of love. So because I have, right here, because I have beans, so I've already rinsed and drained my pinto beans. And I'm just gonna heat them up in the pan. I mean, obviously they're already cooked, they don't need to do anything. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of this with my beans because I want those to get some seasoning. So you're gonna use, you're just gonna use this to season the protein, whatever protein you have. So 2 tablespoons of this, and then we're just gonna kind of let that saute. Give it a good shake. And then whatever you have left in here, you're going to toss with the veggies, okay? Beautiful. And I like to keep my little butter knife nearby so I can scrape out anything that is left in the bottom. Okay, so I love to use my hands in the kitchen whenever I can because they're the best tools. You can easily just take a big spoon, spatula, whatever you want and mix this, but I find that my hands do a great job. I'm using gloves because I have them and that way my hands don't get super, super messy. So we're just gonna kind of toss. I like to make sure to get underneath. You see me doing that because I don't want any of the seasoning to kind of go to the bottom. I want it to be all incorporated. Oh my gosh, and these are beautifully coated. You want everything to be nice and coated, and it will be if you toss it well. So this is what it's gonna look like. Nice and shiny, beautiful, coated in the seasoning. And then we're just gonna put them right here on our prepared sheet tray. So if you have the chicken, you're gonna toss it just like on your instruction sheet that you have. You're gonna toss it in that 2 or 4 tablespoons of the fajita seasoning, and you're gonna put it off to one side, and then you're gonna put the veggies on the other side, okay? So if you do have a 4-person or a 2-person, you're gonna need quite a big sheet pan, because it's gonna make a lot of food, okay? So but because I don't have chicken, I'm gonna go ahead and just spread this out. And remember, we do wanna spread this out. We do wanna spread out the chicken, we do wanna spread out the veg, because that will promote more even cooking, quicker cooking, and a better kind of brown and caramelization on these veggies. Look at those, oh, so beautiful. It's gonna be absolutely gorgeous. So my oven is already preheated, ready to go, and 435, so this is gonna go in for about 15-20 minutes. Totally depends on your oven, totally depends on your level of doneness. But the chicken and veg should be done at the exact same time, especially since the chicken is already cut up into strips for you, just making sure that you separate any pieces that are kind of stuck together. But again, 15 minutes, 15 to 20 in the oven, check at 15, see if it needs any more. And these are gonna go in, be right back. Okay, so my veggies have been roasting. I just pulled them out of the oven and they are absolutely beautiful, nice and caramelized, smell amazing. So if you have chicken on your sheet pan, it is gonna be on one side. What you're gonna do is just take a little bit of foil and just cover the chicken. I just like to let it rest for about 5 minutes, and this is perfect because you're gonna assemble the rest of you're gonna kind of assemble your bowls while the chicken rests, and then that'll be kind of the last thing that you add on. So I forgot to grab a lime. Okay, so I don't have a lime with me, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna chop up your cilantro, and you're gonna have your lime, and you're gonna put half of the lime. So what I like to do is take half the lime and a little bit of the cilantro and mix it into this vinaigrette. This is a super simple, this is just like my basic vinaigrette: white balsamic vinegar, olive oil, salt, pepper. That's it. Because there's so many other flavors going on. We have the fajita seasoning happening, so we really don't need a whole lot. And it's just basic and beautiful. So I'm gonna take just half of the cilantro, and then if you do have the lime, you're gonna take half of the lime, squeeze it in here, and mix it all together. And this is just to season the other things in the bowl. So like the rice, the lettuce, the corn needs a little bit of seasoning, okay? So you're going to then divvy up everything between the bowls. So I'm just gonna assemble one bowl. So just do your best, eyeball it as far as amounts and things like that. I mean, the cool part about this too is that, like, if you have somebody in your household that doesn't like something, you can, or doesn't want a lot of something, you can divvy it up how you wish. Okay, so I'm gonna take about half the rice and put it in my bowl. So I'm doing a 2-person, so everything will be divided into 2. And of course, put however much you want. If you don't want that much, or you want, more or less of something, it is your call, folks. Actually, I'm gonna keep this spoon. Okay, so I've got my rice in here, kind of hard to see because it's white on white, but my rice is in. Then I'm gonna take some of my corn. You can heat up your corn if you want to. You don't have to, totally up to you. Okay. Take some of my corn, put it here. Take some of the lettuce. Beautiful. Delish. Okay, so then from here, what I like to do is I really like to season this stuff with the vinaigrette, because again, the meat and the veg have seasoning on them, so I like to make sure that I do give some love to this step over here. So you're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of the vinaigrette per bowl. So you can just eyeball it, you can use a measuring spoon, whatever you want. And again, if you have people that don't like cilantro, you can not put it in the vinaigrette if you don't want to. I just think it adds a little bit. Okay, there's that. And then you got our veggies. I feel like this makes a really decent sized bowl too, which I appreciate because it's delicious. Again, everyone's hunger on different days is different. You might want more or less, just depending on the day. Beautiful. We're gonna take those beans. Look at this, it's just coming together right before our eyes. Gorgeous, look at that. Look at that beauty of a bowl. So then, if you got, so there's optional add-ons for this too. So if you got some salsa, you can put salsa in here. If you prefer, so one thing you do want to note is I didn't add cheese to this kit because I didn't think it needed it. Now I know some folks like a meal without cheese. What are we doing, right? So if you have cheese, a lot of us have cheese in our refrigerator, like, you know, shredded cheese, whatever. If you need cheese, you put on all the cheese that you like, okay? You can sprinkle some cheese on here. If you like hot sauce, you can do that. I did offer some avocado salsa and one of my favorite dressings. So folks, if you know me at all, you know that I love to make a good sauce, but sometimes I just don't feel like it, especially if it has a lot of ingredients and it needs to be blended. I don't have time for it a lot, or the energy at the end of the day. And I know many of you might agree with me on that. So this is one of my favorite dressings. It's a Bolthouse Farms yogurt-based dressing. It's cilantro avocado. I usually make a cilantro avocado sauce, but this is really, really stinking good if you're in a pinch and you want something already made. So I like to drizzle mine over because I think it looks really cool. So what I do is, you can obviously just kind of like pour this on, but what I do is I just take like a little baggie. You can take like a Ziploc bag, and I like to put it over like a cup so I can easily pour it and it doesn't fall over or get everywhere. Right in there. And then we're gonna take some skizzes right here. And we're gonna cut just a little teeny tiny tip, just that little corner, little small, really, really, really small, because I want a nice drizzle. See, it's already falling out. Look at that. And then we can do a beautiful drizzle, half on this one, half on the other. Ta-da! We have our bowls. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So beautiful. Actually really good leftovers too. If you want to keep the extra lettuce separate, I would recommend that. But I have a mess. Make so much food. It's so delicious. Serve this with like tortilla chips if you want to. So, so good. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'll see y'all next time.